Hon.Ssemuju Atade mubaka wa Kira Municipality olwaleero atadde akazito ku mumyuka wa Sipiika Tayebwa ng'agamba nti yamulabye olunaku olwajjo ng'ali eyo Bukedeya ne Sipiika wa Parliament yennyini nga bali mu kumenya amateeka ga ggwanga bennyini ge baakola mu Parliament ng'agamba beetabye ku mukolo ogwa Muhoozi Olumenya munnamagye serving atannawummula ng'akubye olukuŋŋaana lw'ebyobufuzi ate nga mu mateeka agafuga eggye lya UPDF munnamagye atannawummula talina kuba lukuŋŋaana lw'ebyobufuzi byonna era bw'aba alukubye aba ali mu kumenya amateeka ga UPDF n'olwekyo etteeka lino liba nga lyakolwa Parliament ate nga Sipiika ne mumyuka we Tayebwa be bakuliramu okukola amateeka mu Parliament ate be beetaba mu kumenya amateeka n'omuntu amenya amateeka baba nabo bakoze musango era balina okuvunaanibwa kubanga omusango gwa Muhoozi okuba nti n'amenya etteeka lya UPDF okwetaba mu byobufuzi ng'ate akyali munnamagye guli mu kkooti enkulu n'olwekyo nti Ssemuju atiddemu Sipiika n'omumyuka we Tayebwa bayinza okuba nga bali wano kkooti n'eragira bakwatibwe olw'okumenya amateeka nga beetaba mu nkuŋŋaana z'ebyobufuzi n'omuntu amenya amateeka ng'akuba enkuŋŋaana z'ebyobufuzi ate nga talina kuzikuba n'olwekyo kino kireeseewo akajagalalo mu Parliament wakati era Parliament ebintu ne bisobamu Sipiika omumyuka wa Sipiika omukulu Tayebwa ng'agezaako okwewozaako era awadde enneewozaako ye lwaki yabadde ku mukolo ogwabaddeko omukulu Muhoozi Olumenya naye nno Ssemuju nga yagamba nno kino kimenya amateeka era ye yeeraliikiridde nti Sipiika n'omumyuka we bagenda kukwatibwa bano babadde eri Bukedeya ewa Sipiika Amongi yabadde aggulawo ennyumba ye gali kwoleka era ne bakuba omukolo ogwabadde omunene ogwetabyeko ne Muhoozi Olumenya munnamagye Ssemuju kyagamba nti lwali lukuŋŋaana lwa byabufuzi olwa Muhoozi Olumenya ate omumyuka wa Sipiika ye Tayebwa Thomas agamba nti no nedda kale tugende mu Parliament tulabe ebigambo nga bwe biri Ssemuju ng'atadde omumyuka wa Sipiika Thomas Tayebwa Kazito aye ne Thomas Tayebwa naye nga yeewozaako mu bigambo bye.
Honorable Ssemuju. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the procedural issue I am raising relates to a matter before a court. That matter, I have raised it in this Parliament before, of serving military officers involving themselves in partisan politics. The time I raised it, Mr. Speaker, seeking your guidance, you had attended the party of General Muhoozi Olumenya. This weekend, Mr. Speaker, again, both of you, our leaders, we saw you escorting someone who has been accused of committing a crime under the UPDF Act, receiving him, rendering this Parliament vulnerable, because we can wake up and the Speaker, both of them are being summoned either as witness or co-accused, because already the matter is before the High Court that a military officer is involved in partisan politics. So the procedural issue I am raising, Mr. Speaker, I had intended to renew that matter. I am now in a very difficult position with both of you, our leaders involved. Maybe a procedural matter to seek for your guidance. What do we do? Because that matter should have been handled by Parliament. But now both our leaders are also receiving a military officer when he's committing crimes under the UPDF Act.
Thank you. Please, honorable colleagues, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament this weekend held the Thanksgiving. And in the Thanksgiving, it was for 2 days. We had the first day at her home with members of Parliament. The second day at in the same district at a certain venue, again with her voters and members of Parliament, but also welcomed other guests who include me. Now, I don't know whether army officers are not allowed to attend Thanksgiving of people, because what was in Bukedeya, we had a Thanksgiving, And the Right Honorable Speaker had, among other guests, some military officers. So I don't know whether the law says military officers are even prohibited from attending Thanksgiving. So until I get that clarification, I'll be constrained, Honorable colleague. And I must say we missed you at the party. Your seat was well reserved. So next time join us. We do Thanksgiving for each other. And colleagues, any one of you, if you have, and I don't mind whether you call your party president, whether you call who, as long as it's a Thanksgiving for a member of parliament, I will come, period, okay? Yeah, so the speaker and the deputy speaker and members of parliament never participated in activities of politics. We participated in activities of thanking God and thanking the people of Kedea for voting their beautiful daughter to Parliament of Uganda, where they saw her capacity and also made her a speaker of the August House. So, Honorable Ssemuju.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, most of us members of parliament here are actually affiliated to a party. Those who are not affiliated actually are members of the independents. Over the past few weeks, the media has been awash with what has been happening in the FDC bench. And for that reason, some of us are a little bit confused where some of our members lie. Wouldn't it be procedural right that actually Honorable Ssemuju at this moment clarifies to us where his affiliation is, so that in case we are mobilizing members to vote, we know actually where to go. I would also like to inform him that this is his area. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Ssemuju belongs to FDC, and he's still a member of the FDC, as far as I'm concerned. But I'm sure I can give you more clarification in the corridors, okay, on such issues. Yes, Honorable Fidra.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to rise on your communication in regard to the 2 weeks recess we have really fully enjoyed. Chair, Speaker, during these 2 weeks, much as you alluded to the fact that in future we shall have more guidance given too. However, some of us, in particular me, I tried to use that 2 weeks to reach out to my parishes for the PDM. I wish with your good guidance that last financial year, we were promised by finance that all the money for PDM would be released. And indeed, this is now the first quarter for this new financial year. However, the findings during my—
What's your procedure matter, Honorable?
No, just the procedure matter is that—
Procedure is clear. What's your procedure matter?
No, reaction on your communication, not procedure. Yes. My issue is that through you, could we be able to allot some space for members to hear from the Minister of Finance in regard to the PDM money that were released, some were not released, so that given ample opportunity, we can be able to give a feedback for this important PDM that we are looking forward to. That's just the guidance I needed to get from you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable colleague. Anytime you have that space, because under Rule 41, under Rule 42, you can ask the minister, because you've been in the constituency and you found ABCD. The minister should be able to clarify. Okay. Procedure, Honorable Chivumbi, then Honorable Mara.
Right, Honorable. I thank you for the opportunity. Right, Honorable Speaker, I raise on a point of procedure. Before we adjourned for recess, in that last meeting, sitting of Parliament, the Speaker directed the Clerk to Parliament to ensure that in the next sitting, immediate after that sitting, our motion seeking to amend the Public Finance Management Act be put on the order paper. I checked today. That was not done. So I'm seeking your indulgence, Right Honorable Speaker, because that was the directive of the Speaker then.
But the Speaker has been thanking God, so we have been. Okay, anyway, I've taken note of it. I'm going to cross-check so that we see if it can be provided for tomorrow, okay? Yeah, thank you. Clerk, please take note of what the Speaker directed, the presiding officer directed at that time.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. This is a reaction to your communications with the House, specifically regarding the meeting of the 3 committees of the House tomorrow. Right Honorable Speaker, the Minister of Finance last week communicated the position of the World Bank regarding funding of certain aspects of our budget. And he urged the agency for this Parliament to review our budget in line of the actions which have already taken place by the World Bank. Given that background, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, relating to your guidance on committees to consider having meetings when we are not sitting here, would it be procedurally right for you, in light of the challenges that we are having as a country relating to our budget funding, for the Ministry of Finance to meet the Committee of Finance, Budget and National Economy tomorrow so that we address those issues? I submit.
Thank you. Now, colleagues, I don't know why you're panicking. I don't know why you're panicking as if the country is it's going to shut down. We made a decision here. When we were making that decision, we knew it would have repercussions. Okay? And we are prepared and we are strong about the decision we made as a House. The moment we show any signs of weakness and panic, it means we don't know what we are doing, we don't know what was coming. We knew threats would come, people would try to do what. So please, let us be calm. At any time, when the Minister for Finance or the executive, and I saw the communication of the President, he said they are engaging with the World Bank on this matter. So at any time when the Minister for Finance or the executive feels they want to do anything with regard to reviewing the budget, they will come back here and they inform us. So I would urge the committees of finance, budget, these meetings, Minister for Finance, come and explain. World Bank has withdrawn funding, so you must come, you explain, you do what. You're pressing the panic button for nothing. So to me, executive, do your work. Manage foreign relations, manage with the World Bank. Whenever you feel Parliament should come in, you will inform us and we shall come in and we play our role.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I wish to inform the House that the meeting we had planned with the committees of National Economy, Finance, and Budget had nothing to do with the current developments with World Bank. However, it came to our attention that Wednesdays are days of Parliament, and we asked the leadership of Parliament through the office of the Speaker that this activity be postponed to 1st of September, which will be a Friday, and which the leadership of this Parliament has complied with, and we are moving along those lines.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for understanding, Honorable Minister. Colleagues, Honorable Esther, then Honorable Nanda. Then conclude with Aaron.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, as you mentioned that we're in recess, but still to your office and to you, Right Honorable Speaker, many of us still were caught in between the sectoral committees and the standing committees. We beg for your indulgence once again, Right Honorable Speaker, that let it be clear to our committee chairpersons so that the days for standing committees are clear and the days for sectoral committees are clear, because many times it's the same time and then you are needed for both committees. We beg for that. Thank you.
We are going to administratively handle that, working with the committee leadership. Yeah, that's a very.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wouldn't have been able to, I would not have stood, but I wanted to ask my colleague Gomara that a budget is an expected income and expected expenditure. If you don't realize the income, that means the expenditures will be what? Affected. So, Mr. Speaker, I would request the House that if the Minister of Finance has not complained, and at appropriate time when they complain, they tell us that instead of 52 trillion, we have 10 trillion. We should deal within 10 trillion. Now, this business of looking as if we're panicking, that means you want to amend that rule we passed, the law. I would plead with you, Mr. Speaker, that advise your members of parliament that the budget they passed was expected income and expected expenditure. When we get the actual, then we shall also have the actual expenditure. Thank you.
Thank you for complimenting myself.
Ababaka abamu beeraliikirivu olw'okuba nti World Bank yasazeeko ssente ezibaddewo eggwanga lya Uganda olw'etteeka lye baayisa mu paalamenti ery'ebisya. Kati nno Sipiika agamba nti ababaka babe bagumu nti etteeka lino baaliisa babimanyi nno bino bijja kubaawo, mbu ate ne Mwami Museveni yabategeezezza mbu ali mu kwogerezeganya ne World Bank balabe ng'eddamu ate okubawa ensimbi. Bino bye boogerako ebimu ne ku birala nga bw'obiwulira tugenda mu maaso ne paalamenti.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in your communication, you mentioned about the short recess. But Mr. Speaker, as a matter of inquiry through you, before we broke off, the House was informed that it will never sit again until when an answer has been got as in regard to the elections of the LC1s in this country, Mr. Speaker. Since then, officially, Parliament has not been informed about what has transpired and the solution which was got for us as members of Parliament to know what to tell to our constituents. Mr. Speaker, I beg to understand it further through you, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
No.
Bannange. Amaanyi nga gampeddemu. Tuswadde ntukamala. Parliament yateesa dda ku by'abakulembeze ba LC1 era ne bongezaayo emyezi 6 nga bakyali mu bifo ebyo. Baasooka ne bakireeta ne bakyogerako ne bagamba bajja kukitereeza ne batuma Anthony General addeyo alabe ki ekirina okukolebwa. Ne bakomawo nga bateesezza mu kabineti nti bongezeeyo emyezi 6 tebalina ssente zigenda kuteeka kulonda kwa bassente ba LC esooka. Ebbanga liyise mwezi mulamba. Ssewanyana Alan Aloysius tashimanyangako nti Parliament yayongezaayo emyezi 6 gy'abassentebe b'ebyalo. Kiba kitegeeza tabadde mu Uganda, tasoma mawulire, tagoberera, ate ng'abadde baamutadda nga yava mu kkomera. Abadde mulwadde. Ssewanyana.
Yeah. Now, honorable colleagues, I read a story in a New Vision where they were discussing performance of members, and some of you were saying we don't give you time to speak, you don't catch the speaker's eye. Now you can see such a very important issue. Honorable Sewanyana, it's an issue he has been focusing on. But that's an issue where the statutory instrument was brought here on the floor of Parliament, discussed, debated, passed, and disposed of. But he's still waiting for it.
That's what mawulire.
Now,
Parliament.
Such an issue, and I'm very sure he was not in prison this time. Yeah, but Honorable, we handled that
Swadde.
issue. Yes, we handled it, so you can cross-check the answer. Now, Honorable colleagues, I would urge you, when you don't attend plenary, always get the answer. Okay? If you don't attend plenary, always try to check with the answer to know what transpired. Colleagues, we do have a lot of issues to handle today, so I don't want to waste more time. But I have just been reminded by the Honorable Moses Kabusu. Can I have order in the house? Yes, I've been reminded by Honorable Moses Kabusu that how we had a nasty accident where a boat capsized on Lake Victoria and 30 people drowned. 15 bodies were retrieved, 2 are missing, and this is very, very sad. So I'll first of all request you to observe a minute of silence, and then thereafter I will allow a minute to Honorable Moses Kabusu, because it seems there is a comment he wanted to make.
May their souls rest in eternal peace.
The Honorable Moses Kabusu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, while we're in recess, a boat that was carrying passengers flying from 3 fishing villages while traveling to Kasenyi in Wakiso got an accident. Mr. Speaker, on board were over or around 30 people. However, 9 of them survived. The others died. As of now, 14 bodies had been retrieved. There are some bodies still missing, and the families are still waiting for nature to have their bodies come. Mr. Speaker, whereas it was tragic in nature, we demand that government or Minister of Transport always issues guidelines relating to changes in weather on the lake and how our people would manage them. Mr. Speaker, accidents are accidents. Nobody is blamed for accidents, and we just pray for the souls of the departed ones. And perhaps those of us who come from island constituencies, these things happen quite a lot. We still call upon government on its commitment to give us safe means of transport like government is doing on road transport. We shall be very supportive every other time. And if possible, Mr. Chair, like it has been done elsewhere, our people have asked us, Mr. Speaker, to lobby that if those families, government can reach to them somehow. I'll use that language to they can reach them, to those people who have lost their loved ones.
Thank you. Karangara, you want to add something?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my colleague, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, like he said, I agree. Then also, I also request government it is okay to reduce on the price of the life jackets. Because, Mr. Speaker, Kalangala and these other islands, when it comes to the health sector, they say Kalangala district has the highest prevalence of HIV, and we're at 18%, bigger than that of the entire country, and we're given free condoms. If life jackets, because you cannot say you're protecting the lower part and you're not going to protect the upper part. Because life jackets are worn up And they also save lives. So if condoms save lives, the government should also consider giving us free life jackets, or at least reduce on the taxes on the life jackets. Mr. Speaker, for your information, and the August House, a very good life jacket costs, I think, 100,000 shillings, a good one. But with the army on the lake, Mr. Speaker, our people have been impoverished and they cannot access, or they cannot buy these life jackets. If government can at least also protect the upper part by giving us a life jacket, we shall be very much gratified. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. No, Honorable Kabus, you had concluded. You had already. Let me allow Honorable Keyo also.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
He's from the islands.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, and colleagues from Kalangala. Actually, Right Honorable Speaker, the islands are really disadvantaged. And like my colleagues have stated, it is time the government looked at transport in the islands. For example, even the government has now put up a policy that you don't travel at night. These are places sometimes when you are halfway the journey, the engine breaks down and you have to float. Actually, the idea should be that the government should help us with a number of safe transport means. My colleagues are talking of the life jackets, but even the boats, we pay taxes, but even these boats, even if the government could do inspections, sometimes there's wear and tear. So the islands will really pay a lot of taxes, because even in terms of fuel, the consumption of fuel is high. What you would require from here to Ginger, about 10 liters, on water it will be 25 liters. So we pay a lot of taxes. It is time that the Ministry of Transport looked at transport on water. Thank you, Right Honorable.
Thank you. Now, Honorable colleagues, I don't want to open up this issue, please. I don't want to open up this issue. I want us to again refocus. The issues have been raised, but I've had in an issue of saying some people always remembered, Chief Whip, that also these families that got accident, the families of victims, the MP is saying if they could also be remembered. Anything you want to say on that, Chief Whip?
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues. First and foremost, welcome back from recess. And Right Honorable Speaker, let me also join you in welcoming our fellow Africans from the Parliament of Zambia. In line with the issue raised on the accident on the lake or on water generally, first of all, on behalf of government, we extend our condolences to the families that lost their dear ones. Just like the honorable member stated, I just want to amend that there are accidents that can be prevented and there are accidents that may not be prevented. Right Honorable Speaker, I wish to undertake on 3 fronts. One, to notify the Minister of Works and Transport, where possible and with your permission, to hold a meeting with members of parliament from such areas, such that they're able to discuss deeper into finding lasting solutions to the challenge of accidents in our water. 2, I also undertake to notify accordingly the Right Honorable Prime Minister who leads government business in Parliament on the request put forward by the members of Parliament from this area on government considering supporting the families of the bereaved. This has been a practice. I hope that it will be honored, but let me undertake to report accordingly. On the question of free jackets, this is an issue that can be discussed in the meeting with the Minister of Works and Transport, such that they're able probably to come back to Parliament
and inform us on the lasting solution they have agreed in that meeting. I beg to submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Procedure.
Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Obua is the Chief Whip. His duty under the Administration of Parliament Act is attendance. I hear him now assign ministers who are at the same level with him. So the procedure issue I am raising, because in our rules, if he's here as a lead of government business, they should have notified you and you are inviting him accordingly. So Mr. Speaker, did the government write to you, which is the issue I am raising, that today Honorable Boa is the Prime Minister and therefore can even assign other ministers at the same level?
Thank you. Now, when you look at the Honorable Boa's government chief whip, from the angle of only under the Administration of Parliament Act, then you'll get it wrong, because the appointing authority also appoints him as a minister to do work of the executive. And that's why he has an office at Parliament, but I was also informed officially that he has an office at OPM. So he can handle issues of only Parliament and issues of the executive on the other side. So he has spoken as a minister, and Honorable, thank you for exercising the authority. Honorable Thomas.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, and my dear colleagues. I rise on a matter of national importance, and the issue is about ferry operations across the Nile at Laropi in Moyo district. Right Honorable Speaker, there's a letter dated 10th of August 2023 to the effect that there's going to be temporary interruptions of Laropi ferry operations for maintenance, which is supposed to commence from 21st of August to 10th of September, which is almost going to last for 20 days. Right Honorable Speaker, this has got serious repercussions on the people of West Nile in general and Marisa region in particular, in the sense that the cost of doing business will increase due to long distance. There will be scarcity of commodities, and the cost of living will also increase. Not only that, Mr. Speaker, normally school children, civil servants, nurses, teachers, and so on ply between Jumani and Moyo every day from Monday to Friday. And once the operations of the ferry is stopped, then all these activities will also stop.
Prayers.
Right Honorable Speaker, our prayers are as follows. First of all, we want to request the Ministry of Works, Transport and Communication and UNRWA to fast track the procurement process for the construction of the bridge across the Nile. Secondly, we are requesting for a standby ferry, or vessel which is placed around Laropi so that it can help in ferrying the people across the river as we wait for the maintenance of this ferry. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, we have what we call pontoons or ramps, which are normally assembled to form a ferry. So these pontoons are found in Luero, that is around Kasana, Luero. There are some in Umpigi and other places like Panimur,
please.
Vuma Island, and so on. If this could be assembled temporarily to help make our people cross the river. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Government.
Right Honorable Speaker, as we wait for fast tracking the construction of the bridge and consideration for a standby ferry, I wish to state that, honorable colleagues, we have just been discussing accidents in water. These are machines that require routine maintenance and in some instances, repairs. I beg to state with clarity and with humility that it would be important for us to accept to be inconvenienced for a while in order to give the operators time to service the machine or to repair, other than hearing of another accident in water. So I beg to pray that, honorable colleague, ONRA has been generously communicating almost to all ferry points. Recently, we had the one of Masindi Port, where they also closed for some bit of time in order to allow for routine maintenance. Kindly accept with humility to be inconvenienced for a while, such that the machine can come back well serviced. Thank you.
Yeah, I think, Honorable Chief Whip, and next time it's a matter of linking up with the readers, the convenience of the days, and if there are temporary means for that period. That's an issue which can be discussed with the minister and the honorable colleagues. Honorable Muuma.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I rise on a matter of national importance, and the issue is to do with during the 2 weeks recess, I was approached by the local leaders of Nakalama Sub-County and the School Management Committee of Nakalama Senior Secondary School, which is government, and the matter is to do with the land grabbing and land encroachment by individuals who are acquiring illegal titles with the help of some of the ministry officials of lands. Mr. Speaker, our prayers are 5. One is that the Minister of Lands urgently visits the land in question to establish the facts on ground. The other one is that the cancellation of illegal acquired land titles be effected immediately because the public is not happy with what is happening. Thirdly, that the minister assists the 2 government institutions, that's the sub-county of Nakalama and the Nakalama Senior Secondary School, to have that their land titled. And finally, that we should stop illegal processing of titles on the affected land that belongs to government. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Let the Minister for Lands visit the area and report to the House on Tuesday on the action that had been taken.
Mr. Speaker, before you get a land title, the neighbors must sign on that form. So that those people who are getting a school land encroaching, who signed on the other side and who signed on that, wouldn't it be really?
Yeah, that's why the minister needs to go on ground, Honorable. And that's why the member was saying they think ministry officials are involved. So the people who should be cross-checking once they are involved, they jump that part. So that's why we need the minister to go on ground and indeed take action. Honorable Abdallah Chwanuka. No, honorable colleagues, matters of national importance, you report to my office.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, around the 19th of May, His Excellency the President issued a directive which was clothed as an executive order banning charcoal business in northern and northeastern Uganda. Now it remained on the implementation of the order or the directive. What has transpired, Right Honorable Speaker, is the people working under the Ministry of Environment are trying to execute the said directive across the country. Among other regions is Mukono, Buyikwe, Nakasongola, Luwero, and in Wachiso. They have gone ahead to confiscate the merchandise of traders. We want to know from the minister who is seated right here, whether first of all, that directive was to operate in the whole country? And two, what alternative have been put in place to replace charcoal as an alternative to provide energy in this country? Because as you are aware, right, Honorable Speaker, electricity, the prices are high. The yellow gas, which was being distributed, it is nowhere to be seen. Charcoal and firewood, they have been burnt. What alternatives have been put in place to ensure that Ugandans can survive in this country? Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Minister for Environment.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'd like to thank Honorable Kiwanuka for raising an issue. Honorable Speaker and honorable members of Parliament, the presidential directive came as a result of massive degradation. And it followed a letter personally I had written, starting with a small area of operation. We started with Gulu, then we went to whole of Northern, and then Eastern, and then the presidential directive. Right Honorable Speaker, the honorable member should understand that it will be for their own good with the effect of climate change that we all join hands and conserve our environment. I appreciate all other members who are doing a due diligence to ensure that our members, our voters, really conserve our area of operation. We should have been happy and joining hand to conserve even Mukono, even Kampala, the whole country. However, on the issue of the alternative, Right Honorable Speaker, the directive which was also given, we are mindful as government that we don't have that alternative immediately for others. We actually said for domestic consumption. Domestic consumption. Because the other one came as a result of exporting charcoal to Kenya, Saudi Arabia, including China. So charcoal had gone commercial, but we have actually still remained lenient on domestic use as we get the alternative. The alternative which are in the offering, friends, honorable members of Parliament, as a government, we have promoted energy conserving new technologies, which is actually in most of the energy saving stoves.
Honorable Minister.
Those are the interventions. We are expecting gas.
Honorable Minister.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry for the interruption. Would you mind preparing a statement on this issue? You come, I give you space on the order paper so that Parliament debates and gives you their proposals. Would you mind that?
Most obliged, Mr.
Thank
Speaker.
you. Thank you. We've agreed on that. No, we've agreed on that. Honorable Minister, is 1 week enough? Because you already have a paper you took to cabinet. So now you just pick from the paper you took to cabinet. 2 weeks, 1 week.
Mr. Speaker, I pray that I'm given 2 weeks because I'm going for a conference in Canada.
2 weeks granted.
Thank you.
2 weeks granted. Please, no, please. We shall handle. Uganda will not stop because of the 2 weeks we have. Yes, don't mind, 2 weeks. Sometimes it works better that way. When you give your colleague time and you handle the issue to its logical conclusion. Okay? Yes. Honorable Granny, I hope.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I raise on a matter of national importance, considering the disaster that befell our people in Chivalinga sub-county, which affected 5 local councils. One is the Kasana, another one is Kazo East, another one is Kazo West, Lubuguma, and Nakasagazi. Right Honorable Speaker, these were badly hit by a hailstorm, and their gardens of cassava, sweet potatoes, bananas were badly destroyed. Amongst these, Right Honorable Speaker, even animals and birds died because the hailstorm was really heavy. Right Honorable Speaker, it is very clear to us, we all know, and the August House, that the previous season did not do well just because of the drought that we experienced, I think, countrywide. Right Honorable Speaker, their hopes were vested in these crops that had remained. As the season begins, Right Honorable Speaker, they do not have, my prayers are that the Ministry of Disaster, Preparedness, Relief and Refugees comes to our rescue and provides our people with a few relief items to help them go through that small period, and also provide them with seeds to help us have what to eat for the meantime as they prepare for the next season. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Government has entered. So. Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Prime Minister. Now that you've entered and I already had issues, so let me ask Honorable Hope Grania to use 1 minute. Oh, then you respond to her.
What has changed? Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, allow me to welcome you back from recess. I can see brothers, I can see Semuju, and everybody. I'm happy to be with you. I've been watching, Right Honorable Speaker, I've been watching my sister Grania on my phone with this technology, which was brought by NRM government.
But right Honorable Prime Minister, you sound and look happier than usual. Or what has happened? Where are you coming from?
Right Honorable Speaker, you know, we have been treated to a number of scenarios, some from FDC, which is almost dying. My brother Nanda and others. So, and we have been doing a number of activities, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Hope Grania, the area was hit by a storm. The office of the Prime Minister is already on ground to assess, and then we send relief to those people who are affected. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Honorable Maureen Osoru.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise on a matter regarding the installation of high voltage electric poles, to be specific, along the border stretch from Odamachaku to Leah Custom, that's in Arua City. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to inform this August House that indeed we had contractors who went down to Arua City and they went to install the high voltage electric poles. But however, they didn't do well in some other areas. They went deeper inside people's land, and when they went to people's land, people are not given adequate information that where these poles land, you are not supposed to do any economic activity on that land, and you're not supposed to do any construction. Yet in West Nile, most of our land are customary land, and they are small in size. Now that information was missing, people are now causing a lot of problem down there, that they needed the intervention of Ministry of Energy to realign with the original plan. We don't know if the contractors were trying to save some materials or what, we do not know. Because going beyond 30 meters, beyond somebody's land, yet it's small in size, leaves him or her with nothing. So, Right Honorable Speaker, this is the concern I have from the people of Arua City. Secondly, we have been having electric poles, both wooden utility poles and also the electric poles. But it has been there for the last 5 years without any electric wires, and even the ones with electric wires not have power. So I want to request the Ministry of Energy to intervene in this matter. The compensation was done very well. They compensated the crops, the buildings, at the same time, the fruit trees. But going beyond from the original plan is what is causing a problem. And then may we know also when West Nile is going to be connected, because it is high time we inform our people think we are lying, and we keep changing the deadlines. Please assure us. Thank you.
Thank you. And Right Honorable Prime Minister, the issue of poles, which are just in areas, I think it is happening to many of us, including me. And some people in the constituents are saying, no, this will be done in 2025 when we are going into campaigns. You see, he's not allowing it to be connected because he wants to show that he has delivered toward that time. It's really destroying the image of many members of this house. So we need your intervention, Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the Honorable from Arua City has brought a very pertinent issue. And so I request that you allow me get in touch with her and together with the Ministry of Energy and other colleagues, the members of Parliament from Arua City, and we handle this matter conclusively. Then the poles without wires. These poles are almost everywhere in the country. We were told in cabinet recently that some of the members of Parliament last time got in touch with REA, and the REA tried to give poles to members of Parliament then, and these poles were not catered for in our budgets then. But we have agreed with the Ministry of Energy, with the money we have got under the just concluded approved loan, we shall have to do that work and conclude it district by district. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Colleagues, I know this issue is an explosive issue. I urge the Committee on Natural Resources to take it up seriously, because you know, it's a burdening issue. And I'm glad, Right Honorable Prime Minister, it's also burdening you, and you've seen it. I hope we give it the serious attention it deserves. I'm going to ensure that we follow up on it. Procedural, Honorable Jonathan Odur.
Mr. Speaker, sir, in the last session of this House, the issue on electricity connection came up. And I remember you are the one presiding over. When members sought to interrogate the Ministry of Energy, you directed the minister to bring a comprehensive report detailing all the villages that the project under electricity access scale-up project is going to handle. At that time, Mr. Speaker, you had directed the minister to come in about 1 month. It is now over 6 months, and the procedural matter I want to raise is whether it would be proper now that this matter has come up and that project is yet to commence, that the minister lays before this House a full report so that all members of Parliament can then determine the equity in the distribution of the connections that have been passed by this House. I thank you.
Thank you. I've remembered when we raised that issue. let the minister, Right Honorable Prime Minister, for up. Then on Wednesday next week, Tuesday next week, let the minister lay on table here, and we upload it on our system for the consumption of all members. And colleagues in the public gallery this afternoon, we have teachers and students of Good Hope Primary School, Naburagara Mengo. They are represented by Honorable Shamim Marenda and Honorable Rogers Mukasa Tarleton Gold. Are these your names which we have in, including Gold? Wow. They have come to observe proceedings of this house. Please join me in welcoming them. Thank you. Thank you. Honorable colleagues, I have matters of national importance which were recorded in my office as matters of national importance. Now, whatever you record with my staff, I have to verify and I see what qualifies to be an urgent matter. So some I have referred them to the Prime Minister so that they are handled under Prime Minister's time. So if you don't see me picking on you, please know that. Number two, we record these matters. So it will be bad for me to receive some of the matters from here and when I'm demanding others to come to office. So those of you who have sent me cheats, I have received them. But I won't pick you because I would be unfair to others who took the burden to come and raise these issues in office. But I think I should allow Honorable Max Ochai, your issue which I had said you raised on Thursday, since the Prime Minister is here, you raise it now. As a procedural matter, yes?
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, the procedural matter, of course, partly was asked by my brother, Jonathan Odu. But we have issues of power which is being generated, but is not being evacuated, like in Aswa, and yet every month we are paying for that power which is not being used. Would it be procedure right, Mr. Speaker, that the Prime Minister tells his minister on Wednesday when he brings that power which they are generating, we are paying for, and is not being evaluated, and who is responsible for that?
I think it will be procedure right, Honorable Nanda Mafabi, if you wrote a question for the Prime Minister to come here on Thursday and answer. You still have that gap. I don't need, because you see, we are going to mix very many issues. She will be very able to give you a very good answer as a Prime Minister. So do it that way. On Thursday, she will answer you. I had allowed Honorable Max Ochai to raise a very important issue. I don't want to mix issues.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I rise to make a follow-up on a matter that was referred to the Minister of Works, Transport, pertaining to the delayed feasibility study for the upgrade of Tororo, Nagongera, Busolwe Road, 44 kilometers. At the beginning of this financial year, the Right Honorable Speaker, then presiding, requested the Minister of Works to follow up with UNRA for the non-responsiveness pertaining to conclusion of that study. Mr. Speaker, sir, may I use this opportunity, therefore, since the Right Honorable Prime Minister is around, to update us on the status of that feasibility study, because the people of West Budama County at large and Bukedi generally are actually craving for that road. That road is a strategic economic road for Bukedi sub-region, and Bukedi sub-region being a very, very poor sub-region. That road would actually facilitate trade and ensure increase in household income. Mr. Speaker, could we get an update?
Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I forgot to congratulate my brother before I answer him. The current opposition whip of FDC. Allow me to congratulate him, our brother. We are also praying for our brother, Nandara Mafabi. You will go through this. The honorable member talked about Nagongera Tororo Road. I request that I get in touch with the ministry so that we can give him a conclusive answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Right Honorable Prime Minister, last time you promised us that you will share a statement, a guiding statement on the response to the Anti-Homosexuality Act. So that MPs, once they are representing their county abroad, all of us will speak with one voice. I don't know whether you've read the work on it. Please, I've just been reminded. Let me conclude with Honorable Ganika.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, we need 4 billion shillings to provide for seeds for our farmers in all the constituencies of Uganda. Only 4 billion shillings. The rains have started. 2 weeks before we went for recess, I raised this issue on the floor of Parliament. And the Minister of Finance committed to go and look for the money. Right, Honorable Speaker, we need to hear from the Minister of Finance whether the money is ready so that we can take seeds and ensure food security for our people in this country. I thank you so much.
Honorable Minister for Finance.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we have sent money through parish development.
Thank you. That's what he has. So, Honorable Esther, you had your issue for local governments. Not this issue of seedling. Yeah, you had another issue for local governments.
No, yes.
And don't
thank you
mix
so
issues.
much. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, as the Shadow Minister for Local Government, there are 2 matters concerning local councils, that's LC1s and LC2s, because as realized, we handled the extension up to January 2024. And that's January 10th, 2024, when we shall have the expire again. Won't we run into again another crisis if we don't have matters? That aside, the local councils, as we've earlier discussed, they have not got any amount, any money allocated to them. Their 120,000 shillings is not granted. Now, given whatever is going on, can we get assurance that by the end of the year, these LC1s and LC2s that have been extended up to December are going to be catered for? Thank you so much. Right,
Honorable Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the matter Honorable Narima is bringing up relates to ex gratia payments for local government, local councils. We have provided for this in the Schedule 1 of the supplementary request, which I will be taking to Cabinet soon.
Thank you. Akro Bachiza. Honorable Akro Bachiza. Thank you. Next item.
Item number 3 on the paper. Bills first reading.
Honorable Minister for Internal Affairs.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, bills first reading, the explosives bill number 23 of 2023. In keeping with Rule 1282 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I beg to move that the explosives bill with the attendant certificate of financial implications as required by the provisions of Section 76 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 as amended be read for the first time. I beg to lay Honorable Speaker and Honorable
Embeera bwetyo weri mu Parliament y'eggwanga Uganda nga waka Parliament bagezaako okuwaayo ebirowoozo by'enjawulo ebizibu by'enjawulo ebiri mu bitundu byabwe ebiri mu ggwanga Uganda okwetooloola buli kanyomero ka ggwanga na buli kimu ekyesaana okutereezebwa na kisaana okukwatibwako okulanga eggwanga litambula mirembe etambula bulungi. Naye ensonga eyabadde ekulembedde y'ensonga y'okuba nti World Bank yasazizaamu enkolagana yayo ne Uganda okugiwola ensimbi. Speaker mwagumiriza ababaka ne bannayuganda nti temutya etteeka baali sabalaba era nga bamanyi ebijja okuvaamu kyate ne Mwai Museveni yasuubiza nti ali mu njogerezaganya na World Bank okulaba nga baddamu muwa omudidi awadde nga ate mu public yavuddeyo n'atulaga nti tabitya era mbu ajja kumalako mbu bagenda kutereeza obuli bw'enguzi buggwewo eggwanga lijja kusigala nga litambula naye Sipiika gye ekyama n'akulaga nti Mwai Museveni akyali mu kubeegayirira aba World Bank okuba nti tebamuggyako musimbi tamanyi biki bino ababiddako mpozi n'endala ensonga gye twakulembeza eyabadde ey'omukulu Ibrahim Ssemuju nga alangira Sipiika Anita Amongi wamu n'omumyuka we Tayebwa nti beetabye mu nkuŋŋaana z'ebyobufuzi n'omuntu amenya amateeka okuba enkuŋŋaana z'ebyobufuzi Muhoozi Kainerugaba nti munnamagye asaavinga n'olwekyo munnamagye takkirizibwa kuba nkuŋŋaana za byabufuzi mu tteeka ate nga waliwo n'omusango mu kkooti enkulu olw'okuba nti akuba enkuŋŋaana z'ebyobufuzi amenya amateeka ga UPDF nti ate Sipiika n'omumyuka we nabo beetabye mu nkuŋŋaana ezo nti ekiyinza okuva ekibi one day ne bakwatibwa ate nga Parliament nesigala terina basipiika naye omukulu Tayebwa yavuddeyo n'akigayagaya nga bw'atyo bwe yasobodde okigayagaya n'ategeeza nti eri yabadde Thanksgiving kale nti buli ayagala mukole Thanksgiving mumuyita ajja kubaawo mbaagala nnyo mwenna abaddeko Omukama Katonda nsaba bankuumire tujja kuba tuddamu tuwaye mweraba